Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 110, our third NFL season.
What's up, Vinny?
How you doing?
It's so good to hear that voice again. I missed that introduction.
KKFI in Kansas City, they're happy today. We'll get into that a little bit later. Always go to the website, vinandmikepodcast.com. So we're happy to be back. Friday nights, I think this is going to be our set standard, approximately anywhere from 7 p.m. Eastern time up until 8:15. I think that's fair to say, right, Mike?
I think it's a good time slot. You know, people end the work week, they could order a pizza, listen to us. I think it's a good thing to do on a Friday night.
A fun Friday night, hopefully, for many. But I know we have a lot of people that do play the show when we record it and listen to it later. So it'll be there. It'll be there. It is back, NFL season. We had a great game last night, which I think we'll get into a little bit after. But because we're up against the clock here, in case any of our listeners are tuning in and getting ready for the Eagles-Packers in Brazil Friday night. I think the last time we had a Friday night game was last year, on what's that called? The day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday.
Yep.
So I think the Raiders are playing this year on Black Friday, by the way. So that's right. But we have Friday in Brazil, the Packers, Eagles. Mike, I'll let you talk about what you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Saquon Barkley. I'm thinking about
Mike's number one pick in our fantasy draft.
Well, I'm thinking about him for those reasons.
We'll talk about that throughout the course of the year too.
Yeah, and I think honestly looking forward to that and the matchup against, of course, Josh Jacobs. What that's going to look like tonight. And an Eagles team up. These two teams went in opposite directions really at the end of last season. Yeah, the Eagles, I think they started 10-1, and then they faltered, and the Packers were a big surprise to everybody. Eagles have a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. It's going to be interesting seeing their offensive line. And a lot of people were talking about the whole Jason Kelsey retiring, and now his replacement, Juergens, I think will be a good replacement. It is so hard, Vinny, in week one to predict these games because there's so much variance. I think the Eagles are -2 right now. The over-under is 49. They're playing in Brazil. No one really has a home field advantage. The only thing that I'm thinking right now for me, in my mind, is when you play somewhere that's miles away from your stadium and it's just a different sleep cycle, I'm going to play the under tonight, and I did. Mine under 49. That's what I think is the bet tonight.
Yeah, I look at the London games over the years, all the international games that have been played. The under just seems to be, what always comes out in those games. I 100% agree with you. I also think this is going to be a very close game. I look at it at like 21-20, 24-23. So that's why I'm also going to take Packers +2. Not saying they're going to win, but I think that +2, it could put them over the top, especially 28-27. I'm telling you, it's going to be something. So, I think it's low. I think it's like, I would go 21-20 and +2. That would be my guess.
Okay.
I think your man Barkley's gonna show, some of the skills.
We'll see what he does.
It's the best offensive line he's ever going to play with in his career. It's the probably at this point the best quarterback he's going to be playing with in his career. As Eli was older when he played with him. So I think this is going to be, the Saquon Barkley calling out show in Brazil. So I would even put him in for an anytime touchdown. I would even play that tonight. But let's talk a little bit about last night.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 4.21 speed of Xavier Worthy on the end around and the freaking first touchdown for the Chiefs. I mean,
I had to watch that like a couple times of how fast he was. It was
Andy Reid drafting Deshaun Jackson, drafting Tyreek Hill, and we know the kind of players they became or still are, right? What Tyreek Hill still is. Superior speed, but guys that can find the end zone. This Worthy kid, he's the same thing. I don't think it's fair, man. Mahomes and Reed, and now they get this kid, and Rice looked great last night. Kelsey didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything.
They still played their A game. Lamar, to me, I love Lamar Jackson. At times, he looks like the greatest quarterback on the planet Earth, running away, making speed, end arounds, passes. And then all of a sudden, he just throws these like high ducks, fumbles the ball. And, it's just like he's frustrating because I think he has Super Bowl winning talent. I just want to see him put it together like for like a whole season, right? Like he won the MVP, I think it was 2019. But faltered in the big games, the playoffs. I just want to see him put the whole package together. I think that Ravens team will be very competitive. They gotta work on their offensive line a little bit. These new rules with the false starts and all this are going to cost a lot of offensive lines. You can't, the tackles can't lean back anymore.
Yeah.
So, I thought that played a factor in last night's game as well. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of Mahomes and Andy Reid now. I'm just gonna admit it.
He's a very smart player too, Mahomes. I mean, that when that ball was deflected, he went up to catch his own pass, right? That was a game saver. On the Ravens side, they didn't play a bad game, but there were so many missed opportunities. I think someone to really point out last night was Isaiah Likely. He had a great evening against the Chiefs and could be a primary target for Lamar going forward. But, Baltimore was definitely in the game, but they definitely missed their shots. And when you take a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who has such a great mindset, and this is how the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They could be down, or you think they're out, or they always find a way to win. That's what makes great teams. And that's, again, what the Chiefs did last night.
Yeah, they do. I mean, like we said to multiple people, we weren't betting against Mahomes last night. We had multiple people ask us. We both had the same answer. We both took the Chiefs. We both liked them to win. I think by a touchdown, one way or the other, or 6 points, something like that. So, we had that nailed, just barely. As a toe by Likely would have cost us the whole thing. Especially Harbaugh said he was going for two there, right? 27, 26. Yeah. He was going to go for the win, which I'm guessing on the road with the overtime and all that, the analytics, I think, point to going for the 2-point conversion there, and trying to get the win. But it didn't happen. I think you made a good point with Likely. Mark Andrews really, I don't know if he was, not healthy or a decoy or what, but Likely shine as a tight end too. They don't really have, again, big receivers. Zay Flowers is good, but I don't know. It's just he threw the ball a lot to Justice Hill coming out of the backfield. So I think that'll be Baltimore's game. I think if Likely sitting out there in your fantasy league, he'll probably be one of the big waiver wire pickups this week, because a lot of people thought Mark Andrews was tight end one. He was the backup. A lot of people don't like to draft backup tight ends at all, right? So a lot of number ones sit out there. Plus, not only not drafting a backup tight end in fantasy, you're not drafting a real backup tight end in the NFL. So I think that'll be a good waiver move. I think you could draft the entire Kansas City team if you wanted to, and played them last night. Probably would have won. So it's up to you.
It was a good way to start the year. I thought it was an exciting game. It was a great way to start, premiere of the season. It was close. They literally not by inches, Vinny. They lost by an inch. That's
Yeah,
what
it's exactly how the NFL wants to start. Thursday night, NBC. Two of the best teams, two of the best quarterbacks, two of the best coaches, and came down to the last play. I mean, it's exactly what the NFL wants every week. That parity, those close games, the whole thing. So I see David Portnoy lost his mind saying,
Oh, I saw that. I saw he
he must,
went nuts. No, I don't feel bad. He's won enough.
yeah,
Win some, lose.
he must have bet 50,000 on the Ravens or something.
I
So,
know.
so what else is going on there, Mike?
What else is going on? Well, listen, there's nothing like September.
Yeah.
Had college football start the week before. You
Yep.
open up Thursday night. You have a Friday night game, right? Our New York teams. You have the Giants on Sunday against the Vikings, which the Giants will. I think they'll be lucky if they win 5 games this year. But I think the Vikings is actually a winnable game. I do. I think it's one that's winnable. And my Jets begin on Monday night, West Coast against the 49ers. That will be interesting. So it's just an exciting time.
I'm guessing you want to see Aaron Rodgers play at least two drives.
I know all your jokes by now.
No, listen, I drafted him on my fantasy team.
You have the confidence. You have the confidence in him.
I think when he's on the field, he could put up numbers, and I think with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and that defense, like I said last year, I think they could be highly competitive and have a really good shot. Of course, you worry about going into Kansas City in January and have to play, Mahomes. So
yeah, I'll worry about that when it comes. But
let's go out. Listen, go out to San Francisco. I'm not telling you to win.
Yeah,
because that's a tough game.
It is a tough game.
Go out to San Francisco and make everybody feel good that you're up with three points in late in the fourth quarter. Something like
this.
Right?
That's exactly. A lot of people have been asking me, what are your thoughts on the game? And of course, I'm being very realistic and optimistic. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's never easy to go on the West Coast. I like how it's actually the first game of the season opposed to midway through the season when teams could get tired, right? Going back and forth. It's still a very difficult task. We all know what the Jets are capable of this year. They have a top defense. They've improved their offensive line, weapons on the receiving, running back, but it's all about Mr. Rodgers right now. So you're exactly right. If we get a win, it would be incredible. Great motivation. But as long as we could compete and show that we're something, then I'm okay with that, right? Obviously, I want to come out with a win, but we know how difficult that is against a 49ers team that was at the Super Bowl last year. And, some of the uncertainties there, like, Brandon Ayuk and, just people that they were able to get and that are playing now, are going to be a factor. But let's see what this Jets team's made of. Great first matchup. I think everyone really is looking forward to this, but we're all cheering for Aaron Rodgers' success and just want to see a close one. That's it.
I think he's still got a big chip on his shoulders with San Francisco when they still passed him up in the draft that year. They drafted Alex Smith first overall and didn't take him, and then he slid down the draft board, and the Packers got him really late in the first round. And I still think he felt he was the best quarterback in that draft, which ultimately we now know he was. And hopefully he uses that chip and goes into San Francisco and slings it around a little bit. He's got a little bit more weapons than he had last year. A better offensive line.
Absolutely.
Mike Williams.
Also on my fantasy team.
Remember, Alan Lazard's still there as well. Don't forget Lazard. Is a slot receiver, and of course Garrett Wilson to me, who has the potential of being a easy 100 catch, 1,400 12 to 14 touchdown guy, especially with a guy like Rodgers. So, and then Brees Hall, which, someone in my draft on Wednesday night, first pick overall, Brees Hall, not Christian McCaffrey. Was very high on Brees. Feels he's going to have a big year. As you know, our good friend Anthony there told us live on the draft show that Brees Hall was going to have the most fantasy points of anyone this year. So, all that translates to is lots of touchdowns, lots of yards, Mike. So if you can get that and that defense plays at the level, I think the Jets have a really good shot at winning this AFC East. Now, again, long season. We're not going to jump out and go crazy at 0-1 if they lose to San Fran. We can't go crazy the other way either if they go 1-0. Just a long season. Let's let the first 3 or 4 games play out and break it down in the quarters like they always do, right? Every 4 games, see where you're at. So I think if the Jets could come out 2-2, 3-1 after the first 4 games, I think they're in the driver's seat. I really do.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Took a step back.
I want to give your team some respect. The Raiders, they're going against the Chargers, the new Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, and Antonio Pierce obviously secured the job in Vegas. So I want to get your thoughts on that game and just what your outlook is on the Raiders. I know you're not too optimistic, but give me some highlights that you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're in a good spot to play the Chargers in Week 1 because Herbert, had the plantar fasciitis all training camp. So I don't know. He says he's 100%, but 100% to me, are you 100%, to play 4 quarters and really excel? I think we might have a little advantage there. They revamped the whole team, right? Harbaugh's trying to put together his team. They got two running backs that, a little older from Baltimore, from his brother's team. Receiving core that's getting revamped. It's just a revamped Chargers team. And I'm excited about the Raiders defense. I still think, they really showed some really high level stuff. Max Crosby is just, the beast of a man and will lead that defense. And then you worry on the other side. Minshew, serviceable. I don't know if he's going to be able to lead us in big situations. Zamir White, we'll see, if he can continue to improve on what we saw last year. We know that what Devontae Adams is. We just got to hope that, we can get him the ball, open space, hope the offensive line can protect. But I if the defense can play at a really high level, and if Minshew can just keep the offense on the field, keep it going, and try not to settle for too many field goals, try to get the ball in the end zone. Sometimes you got to force that ball into Devontae. Just do it. I'd rather see him throw an interception on a double team with Devontae Adams than, throwing the ball away or just we got to take some shots there. Ultimately, when I look at it, they're probably right around a 500 team, a little, one way or the other. The NFL, again, very close. So it could waver where they win 10 games. It could waver where they win 7 games. So I'm hoping we're more on that 10 side. But if they could go 9-8 and have a shot of, making the playoffs from 9-8, I don't know if they can, but I'd be happy. Good competitive football and see what happens. But like I said, I don't know if we have, the quarterback situation down. And you know how important that is in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And if anyone knows how important a quarterback is Jets fans.
Trust me, I know.
Are you excited for Sam Darnold starting against the Giants this week?
He's had some career, Mr. Darnold. He's always finds a home.
He's like Geno Smith, right? He's
kind of a similar situation.
There's more Jet quarterbacks that start in the league than actual Jets.
It is kind of crazy if you think about it. It is.
More Jet quarterbacks everywhere.
They're all over the place.
Smith.
They start with the Jets.
Poor Zach is backing up Bo Nix.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to that Broncos game.
Broncos,
Jets in late
Jets.
September.
Maybe Zach will start.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's a possibility.
Maybe Bo Nix will sprain his toe, the week before, and Big Zach will be in there.
Yeah.
What do you think he'll do? Throw 3 touchdowns against you?
No. If he does, I give up. I really do.
Zach Wilson, 21 for 32 today, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the Broncos defeated the Jets 24-20.
Yeah.
So you really think the Giants are going to be that bad, huh? 4 or 5 wins?
I don't know. I know looking at the stat sheet and just seeing what's happened with this team. But again, it's all about the quarterback situation, right? What Daniel Jones is going to come play. Has he really proved to us that he could be a legitimate quarterback, right? I don't know. I don't know.
He's always hurt. That's like the one thing. He's always hurt. So it's hard to evaluate him. He's had some games where he looked like, Josh Allen,
right?
Lamar Jackson running the ball, throwing the ball, just like those guys. And then he had other games where he looked like Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Like looked terrible. So I don't know. Devin Singletary is a nice back. He's not explosive like a Saquon Barkley.
Well, they got to find a new identity on offense. I mean, Barkley, was the guy.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to really think, what is going to be the Giants' identity on offense this year? And then also now, the Vikings too. I mean, this game too, like the Vikings, with the whole Kirk Cousins situation now. It's just. It's 2 teams that are really, I think, struggling to find themselves, and I don't know what to expect, right? So
yeah. I mean, the Vikings gonna go with Aaron Jones and go that route. Justin Jefferson. Will they let Darnold, let it go? I guess Malik Neighbors is gonna have to.
I hope so.
He's the guy to get the ball. The question is, can Daniel Jones get him the ball, right?
I hope Daniel Jones can get him the ball because, he's also on my fantasy team. No, but in all seriousness, I think that the best play in this game is the over-under is 41, and I just think it's a game where I think it's going to be a difficult game. Both teams are still finding themselves. I think that the offense is not going to be great. Obviously, Sam Darnold, gets a chance to go to his top target, Justin Jefferson. But, I don't see this being a high-scoring game at all. I see it like maybe 20 at most, like 2017, something like that. It's going to stay low-scoring.
Yeah, I don't. How's the weather supposed to be in MetLife Sunday? Do we know?
I have to look.
Rainy. I don't think it's going to be cold.
I don't think it's going to be cold, but I haven't looked at the weather yet.
Humid again here today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sunday. About 70 degrees. So be a nice day. It's always windy there, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah, man. Always. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not sure what those teams have on defense. I know the Giants are a little improved. The Vikings, I don't know too much about where they're sitting with all that. So I don't know. That 41 that's the kind of freaking number where someone backdoors it, right? Like it's 2017, and then some dumbass will kick a field goal and tie it, and then you'll lose your freaking bet on an overtime field goal and lose 23-20.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But you got a best bet?
I like the team that I think is going to go to the Super Bowl this year, the Detroit Lions. I like them. I like them over the Rams. It's -4.5. What I think Detroit did an excellent job to upgrade their offense and defense. I love their coach, and I feel like this is a team that people have to look out for. I think that they'll definitely do business against the Rams, and I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. I see that. I don't know. That's what I'm looking at right now. The other one I'm thinking too is the Commanders game against Tampa Bay. Obviously, Commanders are very different going into this year. All new coaches, Jaden Daniels. I mean, and I just feel like Tampa does bring a strong defense. They're only, I think it's a 3.5-point spread. I love that for the. Yeah, I think I got it. I got to go with Tampa minus 3.5 on that one. I think the Commanders have a lot of work. I think their defense is very weak. Their secondary is not good. So I like Tampa Bay minus 3.5. Agree or disagree?
I wouldn't touch either one of those games. I just don't, I'm still not a big believer in Jared Goff. Week one. I'm not going to bet against Matt Stafford anymore after he humiliated me winning a Super Bowl. So I'm done with him. I like Jaden Daniels, man. I think
I like him too. It's not like I don't like him. I
think he could score a lot of points. And that 3.5, that half a point always scares me. Like, you can see like Tampa winning that game, right? Like 31-28, right? Something like stupid like that. So I'll tell you what I like. I like at home playing a Broncos rookie quarterback. I like Seattle -6. Denver going into Seattle to start the season. That really loud crowd, right? The number 12 is going to be hard to hear everything. Rookie quarterback dealing with all that noise, dealing with all that. Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Kenny Walker III, Smith and Jigabov, right? Ohio State, new coaches, but I just think Seattle got a little life, a little juice in that kind of game. So that's the one that I really like.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. That's a good.
I think not that Bo Nix. Listen, he's an Oregon kid. He's used to that kind of like weather and everything up in that area, but I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that noise, that factor of everything. So it'll be interesting. Plus, I think Sean Payton is still rebuilding that team. I think.
Yeah, and
he needs another year. So we'll see.
I was going to say it's going to be very interesting how the Broncos' offensive line holds up and Nix deals with the pressure. That's especially on the road, right?
And that loudness, right? You can't hear the play. You're a rookie. Sean Payton's really got to manage that like extremely well on Sunday. So that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Any other game? Week one is so tough, Vinny. I like to see what happens in week one. And
I'll tell you
I'm just going on my, just what I think. Like I said, I think you may be better playing over and unders. Like tonight, I really feel that probably my best bet is going the under 49 tonight. That's what I really think. Like looking at over unders, right?
Yeah.
And I really believe that Giants game will go under. I think that will go under 41. I do.
Listen, it's there's 9:38 to go in the first quarter of the game, and it's 0-0. So your under's looking good already.
Yeah.
It's nice to see zeros on the board when you take an under.
Yeah, it is.
I tell you one other team I'm interested because of the teams that are playing and the quarterbacks and the division and everything is the Texans and Colts. Richardson's back. He looked like he was going to be the rookie of the year and take over till he got hurt. And then, of course, we know C.J. Stroud ended up becoming the guy and taking over and everything. So that's a game, going into Indianapolis where Houston is the favorite on the road. Again, week one, road game. I think Richardson, is much better than people think. or what they even saw from last year. He's got a lot of talent. Now we know that offense in Houston, and they're building it up. But I'm interested in that game. I think that's an interesting game just to see like where each team stands. Does CJ Stroud get a little sophomore slump? Does Richardson come back and be that same force of a player that we saw early last year?
Yeah. And it'll be, again, this is a rematch of that game the Texans won in Week 18 to get into the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to this one. I really am. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. You have any sleeper teams out there this year? Like a team that you say, yeah, they could win a division, or they can sneak in with a wild card. Anybody that's caught your eye in that factor?
Well, I mean, listen, I think that obviously, and Anthony, I think will like this. I know the Chicago Bears, it's a rebuilding year, but there's so much hype over there, and everyone's talking about Caleb, but I think they've built a really solid team. And I think Chicago has a decent chance to get into the playoffs. I think it's going to be really close. I think they could be like 9-8, and they're just maybe on the outskirts. But I think they did a great job of rebuilding this team, and they're going to be exciting to watch this year. So I'm going to pick the Bears to get into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll give you someone I think that it's going to win their division and going to be a tough team to beat this season is going to be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I think their defense last year was good. I think this year their defense is better. I expect Deshaun Watson to improve from last year. He's got Amari Cooper. Jerome Ford is going to start the season. Eventually, Nick Chubb will be back. I just think the AFC North is tough, right? Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, but I think Cleveland's gonna find a way to sneak and actually win the division.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Cleveland is I think they're gonna be right there with the Jets with being one of the top defenses. Deshaun Watson. I have to really believe in him as quarterback. I think I do think they're going to be. I think they're going to be again a good team. The Cowboys will be a good test for them week 1. I think that game is going to be a very close game as well. So we'll see.
Cowboys
just because I want to see what they could is that defense and CeeDee Lamb having seeing what he could do and Deshaun Watson's performance. It's going to be interesting what they could do in that home opener.
Have they decided yet if CeeDee's playing? Do we know?
Hmm?
Are they letting CD play in week 1 yet? Because he's still on the exempt list. I didn't hear any updates.
Yeah, that'll be I thought he was going to play, but they haven't made a distinct.
They haven't made a decision yet. So somebody told me that they think he's going to be out the first 2 weeks, but I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. Not him.
Well, I'd be shocked if he's not ready to go for Sunday, but
yeah,
we'll wait and see. Yeah, Dallas. Listen, Dak is in that last year of his contract. There's
what's happening over there. Yeah,
they're not negotiating anything with that guy. So they've been trying to force him out of Dallas for years now. They can say whatever they want, but
yeah,
I think if he does not get to the NFC Championship, I think you won't see Dak Prescott there next year.
No, we've talked about this.
There's no way they're paying
the guy will have the thing with him. He'll have again. What do people remember? Playoff performance.
Yeah,
that's it. You could have a great regular season. You can make the playoffs. If you don't perform in the playoffs, that's it. So,
yeah. You know how it is. You ask people who won the Super Bowl, last year, Chiefs, the year before, Chiefs. Who did they play in those Super Bowls, right? You can name them, right? But who made the playoffs that year that, the Chiefs went through. And then you have to really start thinking and thinking and thinking, So making the playoffs, year to year is nice, but if you don't make the big game, nobody remembers. They just don't.
That's right.
So it's just the way it is. Yankees won today, 3-0.
Yeah, that game the
Lewis,
other. Yeah,
Lewis Hill was back today. Gave up 1 hit in 6 innings, so it was good.
yeah.
I'm not going to complain about Clay Holmes. We're not going to complain.
No, I'm going to keep that quiet. That's what I was just about to go off, but I'm going to take the win and be happy.
Yeah, we're going to be happy. 3-0 win. Everybody pitched well out of the bullpen. They gave 1 hit the whole game. All fun. We need Judge to hit a home run here sooner or later.
Yeah.
The last time Aaron Judge hit a home run was the Sunday me and Sebastian went when he hit the 2.
Yeah, that was awesome. You got to see that.
Yeah, but it's going to be 2 weeks this Sunday. He hasn't hit a home run. He's in a home run drought.
Because you're not there. You were kind of like the excitement.
It's the curse of my.
It's a curse of the Lombardis. The Mets are winning right now, 4-2. Talk about a crazy season. Woo.
We were talking last April when they lost like all those games that they had to win so many games to get to 500. Can they get there? It's a lot to do, and they've done it all. They're right there. Packers are up 3-0, Mike.
Packers are up 3-0. All right.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts just fumbled, recovered.
Very early.
Another fumbleitis. Freaking.
What time did that game start? Like 8:10, 8:15?
8:15 Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Jalen Hurts just fumbled.
Okay.
So Jalen Hurts.
I just see that under 49.
Jalen Hurts has thrown an interception and he's fumbled in the Eagles' first 2 drives.
Good debut so far.
I think should I text my brother and say,
no, I would stay away from him. I wouldn't talk to him right now. Don't start with him.
He's got, he's already upset about the whole Brazil thing and the smoke and the inability to.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I said to myself, and listen, I don't want to jinx it, but the atmosphere there, just playing in a different country, right?
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be that. That was my thing. I'm like, gotta go under 49. So
I like it.
Yeah.
When this show is replayed tomorrow and the score is 30-20, then we say, oh shit.
We've had those before.
Oh, plenty.
You know what I like to do, Vinny? Sometimes I like to go back to old shows.
Oh my God!
Just like what we were thinking and predictions, and there's some crazy ones.
Well, remember, was it Stephen A. Smith with the Knicks drafting Jalen Brunson, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he was like, "Oh, Jalen Brunson will never make it in New York. He's not he's not a leader."
Yeah, all the stuff.
I want to give their podcast they've done a fantastic job. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson on their roommates podcast. They had Eli Manning on, the latest guest, and that was pretty cool. But before that, they had they were actually on Mark Jackson's podcast. It was Jalen Brunson, his father, and Mark Jackson and his son. And that whole dynamic was just great. Just like, Rick Brunson and Jalen and, being a coach on the floor, being a dad outside, but it's just, I'll talk about the Knicks it's football season, but I'll say one thing about the Knicks that Jalen Brunson, obviously, since we last went live, was named captain of the Knicks, huge honor, right? And one of the things that he was told by his father when he came to New York is watch the Derek Jeter documentary. And that's how you really have to emulate yourself and really, act someone like that and be the face of New York. And he's successfully done that. So it's I'm glad their podcast is doing well, and they've had some good guests on there too. So it's been fun to watch.
Top-notch guy there.
Huh?
Top-notch guy. You know, superstar. Number one player.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, I'm writing it down. I know you said Lions. Who are they playing?
We got the Rams. So Lions.
No, Super Bowl. Come on. You said Lions.
The Jets.
Jets, Lions.
Yes.
You're locking it in?
And you know who else picked that? Dan Patrick. We're riding together. Except he has the Lions to win, and I'm taking the Jets to win. It's going to be an amazing year.
I am picking the Chiefs because they won last night, and the winner of tonight's game to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Chiefs,
and I want to
either Packers or Eagles.
Okay.
That's my pick.
And one note to tell everybody is my futures bet, also sticking with the Jets, and our friend Artie, who was on the show. I did take Aaron Rodgers as NFL MVP. I think it could be something that's, a great story for him this year as long as he stays healthy at plus 1,800. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
1,800. That was a little lower than I would have said. If you would have asked me, I would have said plus 25.
Yeah, 18.
18 is that's people are hyped on the Aaron Rodgers train. They're getting on board. Choo choo! There we go. Good old Aaron.
Yeah, but no, it's so good to be back. This is our prime time.
I just want to know if you bet like 10 grand on that.
No, not 10 grand.
Okay.
It's not going to make me retire. Put it that way. And you know what? I still wouldn't leave this program.
In 2009, Sirius XM stock was 10 cents. And I thought about buying $5,000 worth. And I didn't do it because they were talking about them going out of business and all this stuff. Now today it's trading around $2. But I know at some points it was trading around $7-8. This is one, I would have at least made about 500, 600,000.
We would have been going out to many more steak dinners.
That's so this year I'm gonna do a bunch of anytime touchdowns, and get that up where you put a $10 bet where you can win like 500,000.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, and then when I hit, we can go have a steak dinner.
We'll do that anyway.
With 30 other people.
30 other people.
Everyone that came to episode 100, you can now come to Wolfgang's.
Yeah.
For the celebratory anytime bet.
I can't wait to see some of those.
Yeah, those are fun. I just like doing it,
Yeah.
Just like Anthony always says, right? Bet a little, win a lot.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, it's been great. It's good to see you.
Always good to see you. Glad we're back. This is where we strive.
We'll do this next week. Friday, I will not be around next week. I have the anniversary musical that I'm going to. So we will discuss. We'll discuss another day. Maybe we can do a little earlier, like a Wednesday, something like that, or maybe even next Tuesday. We'll see how it all.
We can recap the Jets Monday night game.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We're planning for next Tuesday. We'll recap, do more picks, but we're gonna try to do Fridays as much as possible. So
yeah.
If we could squeeze in, if we could do a Tuesday and a Friday, that might be nice too. We'll see. We'll see how it all works out. But
right, Vin.
All right, Mike.
Gonna go watch the game. Enjoy everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
You got it. Bye.
Bye.